How much closer to Etria are we? Shouldn't be too far now. We might be able to read it within a few minutes. You know, here I was thinking Clisina was crazy when she spoke to us about this giant tree in the middle of somewhere. Even still, here I am signing up to go somewhere unknown, and yet she decides to give me temporary leadership when we arrive in Etria. Perhaps we find you more worthy of leading us than, well, someone else. Clisina was a little busy before she gave us this proclamation, I guess. And hey, who knows? You might end up being a good guild leader. You never know if you don't give it a shot. I'd rather have you leading me and some other companions than having us join a guild and possibly dying down there in that labyrinth. I suppose you have a point. After all, Clisina did phrase it in a matter only she is capable of speaking of. Something about that labyrinth. The labyrinth swallowed all. Innocence was stranded, sinners drowned in the depths, the damned vanished there. The great power was lost to man, and Mother Earth turned her back to the new world. Only the cursed king on his throne in the abyss remembers that golden age. Hey everybody, the Great Pigman CX79 here, and welcome to my Let's Play of Etrian Odyssey. DHD Remastered! Honestly, this has been a dream come true because we were teased many months after the latest entry of the series with the same name. We were teased about an entry. News hasn't arrived about it as of yet, as of recording this. And there's just 3 games of the series were ported to the Switch and Steam. Because I guess people asked for it. Either that must have been that survey people answered long ago about which games they want to see on other platforms, but that might be it as well. But yes, this is technically part 1 of 3. And God forbid me if I'm going through all 3 games of the Etrian Odyssey Origins collection. If the other 3 games that were on the 3DS all released as well, maybe even 1 or 2 untold, I might go over those as well. But for now, it's just 3 games so far, and I want to start now before I get too deep into it. So, let us begin. Now, what's new to the remake so far is the introduction of Picnic Mode, which is essentially the easiest mode ever. I am pretty much going to be doing all these playthroughs on Basic, though you are more than welcome to follow along if you are doing any of the other difficulties. Yeah, you can still change them at any time. This is not something like Fire Emblem. Well, if you lower the difficulty, it's gonna punish you by making you stick to it. We recommend this difficulty for those who wish to enjoy the story but may be inexperienced. Battles are easy compared to other difficulty settings. Items like Oriana threats will not be consumed when used, and take it off the press off during gameplay. So that's that. Just one of all the options anyways. But yeah, this is essentially going to be the basic playthrough. If I feel like upping things a bit, I might do expert. But then again, I've not done an expert one on my own time, so I'm not sure how confident I feel about that. So we shall see. But for now, just the basic difficulty. One day, in the small, isolated town of Etria, an underground forest was discovered. The Radha, governors of Etria, issued a proclamation throughout the continent. Any able-bodied adventurer was invited to investigate the forest and explore its depths. But no matter how many came to investigate the dungeon, none gained the renown they sought. As more adventurers tried and failed to conquer it, it came to be known by a new name, the Yggdrasil Labyrinth. You are the latest adventurer to journey to Etria in response to the Radha's proclamation. You have but one goal: explore the forest to win fame and fortune. Etria is at hand.
the town of Etria, for the plaza. And we don't have any other options but to go to the Explorers Guild because we're stuck on this one screen otherwise. Thanks for playing. Haven't seen you before. I take it you came to check out the Yggdrasil Labyrinth? Then welcome, friend. Not many guilds lately are admitting new adventurers. Those short-sighted losers care too much about trifles to do any real investigation. If you've got the guts, you should make a guild entirely for newcomers. There are loads of guys just sitting on their thumbs who join any guild and take them. How about it? Gonna make a guild? Nah, I don't wanna. Your mouth says no, but your eyes, they say yes! But I don't wanna. But I don't wanna. But I don't, okay. But I must. Great, then let's get started. Why will you want to call your guild in this legend? Someday the world will know this name, so think carefully before choosing it. Please choose a guild name. I've had a name I wanted to have for this guild for a while, but before recording I found out that word was not what I thought it was going to be. And decided, nope, we're just going to do something a little basic. Like a different meaning of star in another language. Izar. Izar? Pronunciations. Izar, huh? Not a bad name. Now that you've got a guild, you need adventurers to fill it. Of course, you can go into the labyrinth yourself. If you've got the stones, then register your own name as a member. More adventurers mean more options to you, and less of a chance of dying down there. Think about it for a while, and make sure you register a variety of classes into your guild. So, this is gonna be a real big opener. Especially when the game openly teases you about 2 classes you cannot obtain. We will get there in due time. There's 9 classes in total throughout the whole game. 2 of them are all Orc, as you can plainly tell. But next are basically your average fighters. They have to be either with axes or swords. One's more one-on-one-ish, while the other is area of effect-ish. The survivalist is pretty much your typical artist. You know, these guys. We'll get to those in a little bit. They're basically agile. Some of them. If you build them, I'm not doing a good job at introducing these classes, but basically this is a choose your party member and build them up-ish kind of game. Well, you pick 5 people and essentially choose a class for each one and go from there. For now, before I reveal who I have for the party at hand, let's go over these portraits. In the original Etrian Odyssey 1, there were only 4 portraits. This is entirely new artwork. In fact, every class on here, including the ones in 2 and Etrian Odyssey 3, have new portraits, counting up to a total of 5. Etrian Odyssey 3 got lucky because there's a new thing introduced there called Alternate Palettes, and yeah, that's Etrian Odyssey 3 essentially gets 2 more portraits because the color differences. These are the current options that we have right now, but again, can't really view 1 and all Hexa right now, so that's a little bit of a problem. So let's do something about it. And here we are. Now you might be thinking, what the hell happened? What's going on here? Why are these options suddenly locked? I won't be using these 4 classes yet. These are purely because there's new stuff that technically was not in the original. First off is the DLC portraits, starring Ringo from Soul Hackers 2 and Joker from Persona 5. This could apply to any class without having to, you know, strictly stick to one of them. Speaking of choosing a class and having a different portrait, you like a particular portrait, but you really don't want to have to risk having that member on, or just really want to have that portrait on a class you like? Hey, why? You essentially have all the choices available to pick from. And you can essentially just have a land select that looks like a dog hunter. Or you can have a pet detective who is a troubadour. It's just essentially adds to whatever character diversity you would want in an Etrian Odyssey game, and this is like a thing that was introduced in the latest entry, which was Etrian Odyssey Nexus, as of recording this. It's honestly a real neat idea overall, because, you know, you're essentially creating characters to go through a dungeon. You might as well have some fun with giving them individualities that are just not the same. Oh, this survivalist. These few survivalist portraits that you might see in some other playthroughs. I suppose there's also one thing I should probably explain. This is typically not a new game, because for this Let's Play I'm doing something very specific. A new thing that's been added over from, strangely enough, Etrian Odyssey 3, New Game Plus. It has been added to this game and the second game in the series. So you can have all these things carried over, and you can have more replayability. But again, for the sake of doing this as I am, with customizable portraits in a way, I'm turning all of this off and just doing it all over again. Meaning I will have to work up for everything I did from this file onwards. But yeah, don't worry about it. There's one more thing I want to talk about real quick before I reveal who is going to be on my team, and the very, very niche choice of playing this game on Steam and being able to just customize portraits whenever you want. There's a choice for Etrian Odysseys 1, 2, and 3 on Steam that you can essentially follow through and essentially just have any portraits of any characters you would want to technically join along in the guild, without having to do the whole tedium of playing the game again. Which I originally wanted to do, but because my laptop currently sucks right now and is unable to record Steam games and optimally record at the same time, that is why I am playing this on the Switch. That, and because it's just a lot easier for me to record on the Switch rather than hope and pray that it works on something that's years old at this point. You sound like a good crew. If you didn't give us a thought, you'll regret it later. So, let's introduce the members of the Izar Guild. And we'll meet plenty more along the way, don't worry. These are just the current 5 who have decided to travel to Etria for one reason or another. Let's get into them. And we have ourselves the party at hand. So, this is essentially the main reason why I want to have at least the 2 unlockable classes as a portrait option, and going them over later when you actually unlock them in the normal game, because why not, I guess. It just feels more fun to do, just having more options open than to not. The third game is going to be the only exception to this whole thing when we get to it, but for now though, I feel like this is perfectly fine because the game teases you with those 2 options to begin with. To go over the basic menu options, this is essentially your inventory. You have your regular inventory and you have valuable items, which is stuff related to just key items as a whole. It's nice to have that as a separate menu because honestly, if everything was to be in this inventory screen, that would take up a lot more space. Skills is just basically showing off the skill options that you can use outside of battle. Currently, no one has ever learned anything, so can't do anything about that, unfortunately. Stat screen is really simple. Just shows you the character, their portrait, their stats, and a mechanic we'll eventually get into when we get into a battle. The equip menu is mostly just to ensure that you have some items that if you find them through the levels or if you want to buy them in the shop, you can just equip them through here. Now that matters in the case of the shop though, because there's a whole separate thing there, but we'll get into that again later. Custom stuff is basically allocating skill points. These are essentially your means of building up your classes and figuring out what the heck you want to do with them. Party is basically just, in the event that one row dies, the other row flips to the front, and you want to go back to a formation that you want, or you just want to change the formation a little bit, you can do it through here. The book is, I think this is a new edition in the HD ports, could be wrong. This just allows you to see the main stories and the side quests. Side quests being right here, and missions being the main one, I guess. And with that, we're essentially done. We hardly need to come back here. That's everything. You're ready to get started. I hope we can shake things up in this town and clear out some of the deadwood. I'm looking forward to the day the Izar Guild becomes known the world over. And if we try to talk to him again, he just basically says the same thing over and over again. Don't know why. Don't know if he just says that specifically, or if it's because some sort of bug in the old version that's still kept in here for whatever reason. They didn't bother and just decided to just make that the one line he says. I don't know. It's weird. But now we essentially have the option to go everywhere. Let me guess, you were first face guilty who ran straight here after registering. Well, if you want to get into the labyrinth, you need a White House permission first. No permission, no entry, no exceptions. I never read that. I never took the opportunity to just say, oh, I'm gonna go straight into the entrance and see if the game blocks me. It's the time I've done that. And let's explore our other options before we, of course, go to the water. Here was the Rooster Inn, home of the Long Crow. Welcome to the Rooster Inn. We cater to the adventurers who explore the forest. Please, make yourself at home. This is essentially one of the few healing spots you have in the entire game. And trust me, you'll be visiting here a lot. Sleeping and napping, or just time skips to a certain point in the day, in which case 7 AM for basically all of the games. Storage is pretty much what it says. If you're full on inventory or you want to keep certain items here for later, you can do that here. In fact, I'm going to do it right now because I technically have a new game item I'm not supposed to have yet. Or I guess not, according to the game. That new game item is going to be stuck there forever until the end of time. Don't push yourself too hard. You can come here anytime to rest your weary bodies. Sleep the night through or nap until the evening. Either way, we can accommodate you. And the option to save the game. Yep, just saves the game. Yeah, you can essentially choose this auto-saving option off if you really want to just not automatically save every time. I personally want to keep this on, but because of that event, I will make use of 2 saves. Maybe even 3 for the heck of it, just in case recording fails. Because as I've learned from my Pikmin 4 Let's Play, backup saves help. Autosave is sometimes the main villain, and you don't want that. The Ceft Apothecary? Is that how you pronounce Ceft? I don't know. Welcome to Etria, your standard town's apothecary, where we heal the wounded and fallen. We also offer medicines to take with you. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you're wounded in the forest, then come back here, and we'll do everything we can for you. So this is something that's only in the original Etrian Odyssey 1. And in the same vein as Etrian Odyssey 2, because poor unfortunately me started with Etrian Odyssey 1's Untold remake and never knew this existed, so because this was basically a route for an item we'll get into much later. So never knew this guy existed until playing through this game, or just if you watch any Let's Plays up to this point or something. But this guy can essentially heal dead teammates and kill you of status ailments. He can also give you stuff, which will be important because this is where we'll buy our medicas until the third game. I think. We have the Axilla, which is a herbal perfume that restores 10 boost points. Again, we'll get into that much later. The Amrita, which recovers 15 TP, which is our talent points. Basically our magic gauge for this game. And a Medica, which of course just restores 30 HP. We're gonna go ahead and buy, like, might say 6 of them. It never hurts to be cautious. Don't want to buy any Amritas though, quite yet. A medic is fightable when forming exploring parties. If you're going down into the labyrinth, I'd prescribe taking one along. If you're on a normal playthrough, this is absolutely necessary, but if you're speedrunning, not really. Hello, need items, weapons, equipment? I'm your girl. Are you here to get what I heard about with only new folk? Explorers like you are my best customers. I look forward to doing business here. I honestly love Shilleka here. Mostly because she was like the first shopkeeper I've ever seen in an Etrian Odyssey game, and I just really like her design. And she's a great character overall. She does make an appearance in the latest series, again, Etrian Odyssey Nexus, but for some reason I think either the people didn't want to do Shilleka's dialogue again, or they just rebooted her to not say the words that she spoke here, which is kind of bothersome. We spawned on Supply City, so I hadn't been able to make anything good. Whatever you find in the forest, bring it here. I'll buy anything you bring me. So, what she says there is essentially how we're going to be getting new equipment throughout the story, and essentially just overall, aside from finding equipment in the labyrinth. If we bring any equipment from defeated monsters, Shilleka will make new armor, weapons, accessories, and items. For now though, these are basically the only thing she has at the moment, and yeah, I'd say for now we're better off equipping our guys with stuff necessary for them. Especially in our protector's case, a shield. Wait, if this gets the same stat regardless, do I not even bother buying it? Oh well. To quickly go over this menu, if a weapon is lower than your current attack stat, it'll be showcased in blue. If anything is higher, like say anything that helps your defense or offensive abilities, they'll be shown in yellow. We hardly have many Entol, which is basically this game's version of gold, which it's just easier to say gold rather than another currency in general, but you know, it is what it is. Well, burning. Let's see. No, that's actually a lot. Never mind. So I was not under normal success, but no. We might have enough to buy everybody something of value. And no, okay. Shouldn't have bought all the 6 medicas then. But if you want to go swap equipment immediately, if you accidentally hit no to equipping anything, you can do it from the shop. It's that simple. Welcome. Don't think I've seen your face in here before. You new in town? If you're going down the labyrinth, you should visit the Radha's first. Every fetcher's got to go through Radha Hall before they're officially recognized. Sorry, hon, but my hands are tied. I can't give you any work until then. Once you're legit, come and see me again, alright? I'll be looking forward to it. Better finish that mission from the Radha before talking to me, kiddos. I know I'm up at force is hard, but everyone has to start somewhere. Good luck, Adele. Yeah, well, kind of stuck. Well, like that is doing side quests before we're actually official guilds. It just works. Can't go easily to side quests when you just form a guild now, can't you? Well, that being said, though, I'd say we've seen everything here so far. Let's head to Water Hall, like we've been told to do so a few times here and there. No soliciting. This is Water Hall, home to Etria's governing body. I assume, newcomers, that you are en route to investigate the forest. However, we don't recognize just anyone who manages to throw together a guild. If you wish to become licensed adventurers, just complete the mission we give you. A new mission is available. This is our main story objective. We'll be visiting here quite a lot. We'll discuss this option later down the road. Right now, let's go ahead and just accept our initiation. New adventurers must be tested by mapping the first floor of the labyrinth. Meet the soldier on the bottom of this floor for details. Your mission is to create a map of the first floor of the labyrinth as an initiation. Those who cannot accomplish this elementary task are better off staying out of the forest. Explore the first floor and map everything you see there. This method will be useful later. Here's a small map to start you off. Fill in the rest of the details as best you can. Obtain the labyrinth map. Now, go to the forest and get the details from the soldier on the first floor. Here at Water Hall, we both govern Etria and promote investigation of the labyrinth. When adventurers discover new beasts and objects, we are equipped to note their findings. It will be a great help, explorers of Izar, if you would contribute as well. So, in short, he's just detailing what this essentially means. We have a monster codex and we have an item compendium. This whole series will be basically filling out everything necessary about the monstrous codex and the item compendiums. I am not looking forward to Etrian Odyssey's 2 report discoveries because that gets complicated. Anyways, with all that said, let's head into the labyrinth. The Emerald Grove. The first hope-filled step. And here we have our means of playing through this game on a Switch and PC. So thankfully there's also this, which is preferably a lot better. We'll go over map controls pretty darn soon. The Yggdrasil Labyrinth. One task must be performed before challenging its depths. As you have some skill at adventuring, some free skill points to be available to you. To spend them on skills useful in the labyrinth, open the menu with the Y button. Select custom to allocate the points, but think carefully about doing so. You may already be aware of this, in which case this advice is happily unnecessary. And so, don't hesitate no longer to begin your adventure in the Lush Green Forest. So, by the way, I'm just gonna put 1 point into everything necessary because these will be important. Now, going over something else that only happened in the original Etrian Odyssey games, the skill menu was not like this. This is essentially based off of the Etrian Odyssey Untold menu style with a Nexus style of leveling, meaning you can put in as many skill points as you want to at one point in time, or you can just put them in one at a time individually and just decide things that way. Personally, I didn't like how it was done in the original DS games, so I highly prefer this style as someone who got into the series through the Untold remake, so yeah, this is just something I like overall, and it's just it lays things out neatly, and you're able to understand a lot more than just, oh, which skill goes to what. But also understandably, you can also just select the skill and see which level a certain skill prior needs before unlocking the skill. Which again, was how most of it was done in the original. I should have been prepared with more water when I was going through with all this talking. I knew I was prepared for more talking when I started the series, but didn't think it'd be this much. For now though, let's just go over what skills I want to have for my members so far. For now though, I want to have at least a point in this. And for now, I'll be taking a point in True Sword. We'll be taking a point of both the front and rear guard, though that might change eventually. Just gonna put another point into that and unlock this. Gonna be putting a point into that and let's just put in a point for HP up. Putting a cure, a stat into a cure, and let's go ahead and just have another point into this just to have a more better healing than what Medicus might possibly provide. So, yeah, that's essentially everything so far. We'll go over the Sharp Mine and takes later on in this dungeon, so don't worry about that. There was a mythology behind me not putting a point into these rather minor things in the main party. For now though, let's just find that guard and oh look, there he is. As you walk through the narrow path, greenery all around, you see a soldier standing guard. You must be the new guys. The one that told me you'd be along. Welcome to the forest. A few questions for the soldier spring to mind, but you wonder if you should let him be. Let's ask him about the labyrinth. The soldier looks around once before answering. We call this the Yggdrasil Labyrinth. It's a pretty strange place. The ecology here is completely different than the one in the world above, where we live. It goes down so deep that no one has ever seen the lowest stratum, which is essentially this game's terminology for areas. We're essentially in Area 1 of the game. If you plan on exploring down there, then make sure your guard up is up at all times. His speech delivered, the soldier loses interest in you and returns to his post. You hesitate, unsure whether to ask him another question or let the matter drop. So, what exactly are you doing here? The soldier answers your question slowly. My orders are to make sure no one, you for example, gets into force without permission. If you want in, start the way everyone does. Make a map of the floor we're on. As I'm sure they told you back in the Radha, everyone goes through this initiation. With that, the soldier points to the map of the forest you hold in your hands. Reviewing the map drawing controls? This is essentially kind of important, so let's go over it. In this game, you can draw maps of your surroundings using the controller or by touching the screen. Which you can do if you're not playing it on dot. In the PC version, it's just as simple as drawing it with your mouse controller. It's honestly a lot easier there than it is on here. If you're using it by finger, at least. But yeah, this is the forward map and the zoomed in map, which we've shown off earlier. The top map shows the entire floor, and the portion outlined in green is the zoomed in map. And it's where you can essentially just draw and customize your map on your own. Not everyone draws the map the same, and yeah, it's you just draw the map how you want. Whether you want certain icons to be a thing or not. Yep. no matter which option you go for here, it essentially just throws off the same thing, just done differently. You can place icons on the map to mark things, and you can also place down memos. And if you want to move a memo of any other icon, you can just use the crane. You can also zoom in and out of the map, so you can draw in more details or just focus on a very specific spot. There's also the full map settings, which you can essentially just have walls be drawn all around you, so you don't have to draw in the map yourselves. Personally, I'm leaving that option on just so it saves me the time of doing so. But if there is a spot on the map I haven't drawn in, that would be essentially drawn in off screen. Because unlike the DS versions, you can't draw your map outside of the labyrinth, so you have to go back into the labyrinth if you want to finish the rest of the mapping. So with that tutorial out of the way, I say we're pretty good here. This area inside the red border shows where you've got to map. Finish that part and see me. You decide to leave the tutorial alone. And this outline is what we gotta draw. It's real simple, really, so every event has a good option. The only good option is going right. Oh no, a battle! Another new thing from the later entries is the option to have a reference of the enemies you're fighting. So that way you don't have to just remember them just by going back to the water hall and checking the codex of the monsters you fought before. You can also check their buffs and debuffs here, just on the off case you might have forgotten or you just need a reminder. These are essentially going to be filled in upon defeating one enemy of, well, just any enemy that we fight on the floor. The items, however, are going to be a little different because there are conditions that allows them to be dropped or not. And like I said, we're going to be completing everything, so we might be here for a long time depending on how good the RNG is. But with that said, let's get into combat. It's pretty simple, because I get to battle. Yeah, there's an auto battle function. Just in case that's a new thing to all y'all. Yes, that is also a new addition. I just wanted to show that off once because you will never likely see me do another auto battle ever again. At least throughout the main time I'm recording it. But yeah, the result screen is simply just there. Here you get to see the experience that you got and essentially how much experience is left to the next level and the items that are dropped by the enemies. However, as with some games, which is essentially in all the games in the series, the experience is divided to make sure that it's equally given to all the party members. If you're down to just one member, that one person alone gets all the experience, no divisions whatsoever. And we discovered new monsters. And discovered new items. I think we just luckily managed to find all the items that those three rats dropped. I'm a little amazed, honestly. We have a little event here. Let's go ahead and see what it is. While walking through the forest, you find something furry at the trail's end. Initially thinking it a creature, you lower your guard upon realizing it's a boot. Could it have belonged to an adventurer? You weigh the options of picking up the dirty boot or leaving it where it lies. It never hurts to be cautious. You thoroughly inspect the area around the boot. A close look reveals torn clothes and red stains on the ground. The sign points to dangerous beasts lurking nearby. Eyeing the boot, you wonder whether picking it up is worth whatever danger is in store. Smash it. You gingerly pick up the dirty boot. It's rather heavy due to the ivory-colored stones and its previous owner hid inside. Obtain the white stone. As you marvel at the stones, the ground begins to shift unnaturally. The dreadful monsters who likely killed the boot's owner ambush you. Strangely enough, it's not an ambush on our end, so we're perfectly fine though. Moles are a new enemy. They'll essentially just another weaker enemy to fight. Just your common enemy. But now we're gonna actually use our skills because there's more than one enemy here. Well, more than two, rather. Let's go ahead and Funk Guard. Now we're using that because these guys don't have anything that uses their heads as a skill. But we will increase our attack options, our attack stat in this fight. Oh, ouch, damage, sis. Stop it. Gonna have to use these medicals real quick. And you Lewin use cure, I guess. I'm great with words. There we go, everyone's in top condition again. Go back to just doing the typical things. And just essentially go ahead and kill the last one standing. And there we go. Yeah, that was all after that event. Now, that thing in the bottom right, that's essentially our weather encounter meter. Every step we take, it fills up. When it goes weather and weather, that's a sign that you're nearing an encounter. And judging by how that battle went, we're clearly not gonna be able to do. Why is this easy to smack it? I lied about having to use all battle once. Okay. What I was trying to say is, it would be more than doable to try and do this all in one go, but from that war fight alone, we are kind of fitting a little bit, and it would be best if we just go in and just sell the stuff we have and make sure we are more prepared to take on the threats in the labyrinth. And so far, I don't think we're gonna our 175 intel is gonna do much. So let's just save it to the evening. It's still gonna be 5 intel. Is that alright with you? Yep. Upon napping or sleeping, like I said, it's just it changes the time to the time would swap to that day time in overall. So we actually get to see the night version of this title screen, of the menu screen. Don't know why it's the title screen, because the title screen never changes. And the screen in particular as well. You don't get to see it often, but man, you see it. But anyways, we're gonna be occasionally making a few trips here and there. Just want to make sure I want to conserve my counter points for a tougher battle ahead. We don't need to necessarily use them on every battle ever, but it just kind of helps to be a little cautious. Oh, well, speaking of which, it appears Ume has gotten a head bind. And yep, can't use bravery. So, binds! Can't believe we're covering them this early, but they are split into 3 categories. One of the categories that you saw was the vocal skills, because Ume is a troubadour, she can't really use any skills that involve speaking with her head, as indicated by here. If you were to go to here, this is to be indicated by the arms. And I think if we start with Hisako, there might be something. Yeah, if Hisako were to be inflicted with a leg bind, this would be blocked by a leg bind. If she were to be hit with an arm bind, this would be blocked by that arm bind. It's a pretty simple tier list, honestly. The main reason for binds in particular is just to essentially cut off an enemy's options and force them to try to go about things differently. This is the den of the pier. Yes, it is. It's also off path, so we're gonna go upwards and get into a fight with the single mole. I just realized everybody leveled up as well, so yeah. I want to have what damage up. So. And let's have a point into that, so we can have that open. Have that up. And let's put a point into kill. Let's go ahead and use a Medica. But yeah, essentially, what binds boil down to is essentially if a skill is necessarily bound to a particular thing that you find annoying, you might want to have a dog hunter, which is what Adamina's class is, or the later class that is unlocked way later to do so, but it's more preferred to have a dog hunter on because well, we'll just get into that eventually. As you continue into the forest, you reach a clearing. Squares boxes are lined up before you. It's possible they were left by fellow explorers of the labyrinth. Then, too, they may be part of the treasure rumored to deliver the labyrinth. The boxes sit ready to be opened, offering no clues to their nature. This is also a thing I've been finding at least a little strange every now and then. Sometimes when you're worried about your step, when you're about to encounter something and you step onto an event trigger, the encounter won't occur until all the dialogue has been cleared out, in which case then you enter a battle. It becomes a little jarring, so it's like, what? There's this very important thing right here, but oh no, you've been ambushed by a battle! This might be a little dangerous later down the line, but hopefully that doesn't occur too badly in here, because that was a little ridiculous just to happen on the first floor.
How could you?
He's Sako living on 1 HP there. Oh my goodness, girl. Slow down. Don't need you to die in early death this episode. This is only the first episode. We don't want anyone dying on the hand. But yeah, for some reason, this is essentially supposed to be the treasure icon. Mostly because of how it was in the original, but while I'm placing this here, you soon realize that's the actual treasure icon, so it makes you wonder why that was there to begin with. I'm just mostly guessing, like, if this is just a refresh spawn, that's just what it is. That most people put on before that treasure icon became a thing, but that's just my two guesses. I'm not really too sure about that as a whole. But yeah, we just got 200 intel in this case, and we just got a medical 2, which is a no, I was correct. We got a medical 2, which is essentially a better version of the medicals that we have on hand right now. Wow, so we can come across the launch block. Open the Skelemassex, which is essentially a weapon for them, yes. I'm actually surprised that I inconveniently forgot Irene's weapon, because that was actually a good time to showcase that. I would have been so goofed otherwise. Oh, claw bug. I believe this is one of the enemies that resists our physical attacks, so we might want to be a bit precautious here. What do you mean you missed? Oh god. Ooh, even that damage is not good enough. Yeah, I think we came here a little too early. let's just avoid that for now. We're not adequate enough to prepare for that. We're just not. Let's get back to the main path. as soon as we deal with these guys. Yeah, we essentially got everything that the tree rat dropped. But as you notice that this wood fly has 3 question marks blocked in yellow. This is to indicate that a monster has a conditional drop. Right now I don't have the means to do so on hand right now, I believe. Yep, I don't have the means to do so right now, so we'll just have to come back here another time with a party member that can actually fill out that condition for us. In fact, it might be sooner than we think. Who knows? But for now, let's just get our experience and let's just move on. There's map there. Convenient events, convenient battles, I'm telling you. Got a bug wing. While walking through the narrow trail, you find a trickle of water near the end. The clear, cool water seems extremely tempting after your arduous hike. Arduous hike? Arduous hike. Blech. You hesitate, unsure of whether to slake its thirst or to pass by the water. Never hurts to test the waters. You reach out and put your hand into the spring water flowing from the rocks. The icy water cools your heated skin. You wonder whether you should try a sip or leave without taking action. Cupping your hand to the stream, you bring a sip of water to your lips. The clear cold water quenches your thirst. The water recovers 10 talent points. Feeling much better after drinking the spring water, you decide to move on. So yeah, this is actually a little bit of a recovery point, which would be a good time to put that icon here. And a good time for a memo. So yeah, that is how the memos work. If the memo has an icon that's placed on that tile, it shows that tile. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. So we'll just have to keep that in mind as we explore. Let's and if I just go up. And we're just back to where we were before, so clearly just introducing parts of an uncompleted map. So now that I just accidentally did that without actually going over it, sidestepping. By pressing the left bumper or the right bumper on the controller, you can essentially just sidestep in whatever direction you're facing. It just sort of makes things easier, I guess, if you want to just move, I guess. If you like facing a particular direction and you don't want to waste time turning around, I guess. Path still, let's just go down here. And with that, we gotta level up. I think throughout this Let's Play, just to save myself some time, I'm going to cut out battles that'll just essentially the same ones we fought before. If it's just the same ones, or if it's something that's not going to be of too much interest along the way, if one, say, doing a side quest and essentially need to focus on getting to that destination, or just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say by trying to make things as complicated. Point is, if it we'll be facing each new monster at least once, and any level ups that happen will just be shown off. It just makes it easier for me to edit this whole thing down as a whole and to not fill up as much screen time. Unless, of course, a certain scenario happens, but that's gonna happen right off the get-go, but, you know, you'd be surprised at Etrian Odyssey. Anyways, moving on to an immediate dead end. Okay, over here we have to our right a door. A mysterious crystal entwined with ivy blocks the path. It seems you cannot proceed. So in that case, we just have this door. That is just gonna be in here. Just have ourselves a puppet door here. Don't know where it goes or where it leads to or what we need to unlock it, but you know, it's there. Anyways, this is a point of interest. that no one is skilled of because I just did the thing I did not want to do. This is essentially how we get items not from monsters, but from the labyrinth itself. These are also really important because we will be needing these, as they are also part of the item compendium. Believe around here? Yes, there is. As you walk through the forest, a wall of trees marks the progress. Continue onward. Huzzah! We are over here now. This is a shortcut. We will be finding a lot of these throughout the labyrinth, and I highly recommend you find these. They will make your trip through the labyrinth that much easier. Yeah, I can hold off on checking that as of reason. We still got plenty of time to map things out. As you notice here, this icon is now available, whereas it wasn't with all the other times before. And that gauge in the bottom of our portrait is now full. This is boost. This essentially just boosts power up to like an additional +5 levels. This will be real helpful for later battles. By now though, we're essentially going to be like overkilling these wood flies if I wouldn't do this, so yeah, 30 damage. That's already quite enough to overkill a wood fly. Give or take some of the damage I was applied to it before. But yeah, the way the boost gauge works is essentially whether you got hit or not by an enemy. The gauge goes up if you get hit by an enemy, and if you essentially just attack an enemy. It's pretty simple when it comes down to it. It's just you build it up and you have the ability to use it whenever you can. I believe this also might apply a bind if I'm correct, if it's boosted that well. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, it should. No, that was a straight up overkill. Okay. Comes to the hard south first. Okay. Got ourselves another event here. As you continue down the path, you find red fruit growing on the wall of trees. It hangs just within reach, seemingly daring you to pluck at it and take a bite. You consider for a moment whether or not to eat the fruit. What's the worst that could possibly happen? The fruit's sweet juice has slid down Hisako's throat, and recovered 10 hit points. And that was just a one-time HP restore, good day. But yeah, we're almost finished. We're almost done with mapping out the entire place. It shouldn't take long, really. We go over here. This should be mapping out that part. With another event space. You step into a dead end at the forest edge, covered with brush and brambles. An old rucksack, seemingly abandoned by a past explorer, is lying at your feet. Pick it up. Why not? You peer inside the rucksack and find a number of coins inside. 100 coins. Which is 100 intel, but you know. If I happen to mistake intel for gold, just know that's what I'm probably going to refer to it as, because saying intel or N, it gets difficult. Even when most RPGs nowadays just tend to use gold as the means of money. Or just money overall, I guess. I'm so close to finishing the map, but I don't want to go back to town and heal. As you walk, you reach a clearing filled with blooming flowers. The lanolin flowers sway in the wind, and you catch a scent of their fragrance. You contemplate whether to rest or enjoy the sweet smell, or leave immediately. Tempting as this is, no. You decide to vacate the sweet smelling clearing at once. Okay, that doesn't go again. Good, because if you were to say that, if you were to say yes to that spot, you would be immediately ambushed. And at my current level, I don't feel quite as confident as facing the enemies that occur from stepping on that, from saying yes to that alone. But yeah, our map is currently well completed so far. So let's check in with the guard and hope this is good enough. We missed one tiny spot, but you know, a more complete map is better than none at all. Level up. Another standard bows. Oh yeah, I forgot I completely skipped a level 3 level up. a level 3 point allocation. Just go ahead and do that. Put a point into defense up. Well, 2 of them actually, so then that would begin with. Put a point into shackles and bring that up 1 more level so we can unlock that. Put a point into that and put another point into that. Put a point into cure and into healer so we can unlock salve, which will be very helpful going on because killing the entire party is better than healing 1 at a time individually. On occasion. Oh god, no. Stay away. Okay. I'm glad that one of our clumsiest members of the party managed to escape first. Good sign. Also, this is likely not to happen most of the time, but this is what the portrait views are going to be like if you have this view on to begin with. Just want to point that out real quick. For most dialogues and conversations, this will be the point of view that we'll be seeing. As you stride through the forest, you meet the soldier, still guarding his post. Once he notices your presence, he hails you cheerfully. Got your map all in order, have you? In that case, you've got my permission to proceed. The soldier stands to one side to race you through after passing the torch to you. You want to report your success to the Radha, but the time of going deeper is also tempting. I don't really feel confident with, with the HP I have and everything in between, so yeah, I think we're kind of good to just call it a day for now and just report back in. As soon as we defeat these enemies standing in our way, damn it. And off we go. Back to Etria we are. Let's go ahead and report our discoveries of the monsters and of the items that we found. There we go. So yeah. Just to go over this a little bit more, because this wasn't immediately read of it information. The 3 icons that indicate something being slashed, speared, and smashed, rather. Smacked, I guess. Those are the icons for the physical attacks. There's the elemental attacks right there. As you can see, the tree rat is weak to fire. Everything else down below is stun, instant death, petrify, terror, curse, poison, sleep, confusion, paralysis, blind, and the head, arm, and leg binds. So, fittingly enough, well, we've been introduced to 3 enemies that are just weak to 1 individual element, so bringing in an alchemist, which is the mage class of the game, would be real helpful in the future. And might likely be interswapped here and there, depending on the needs. But for now, let's... okay. Briefly forgotten. Let's report. Complete! We've received word from our soldier that you've completed your map. Well done. We acknowledge and recognize your status as true explorers from this point on. You belong to the Izar Guild, correct? Let me give you the standard reward. Take this to Shilleka's Guild. So sell your items necessary for your adventures. Stock up there and work hard to explore the labyrinth for us from here on out. Obtain the Radha note and obtain 500 gold. Don't go already using gold instead of mental. You'd rather, okay. So, let's just go ahead and sleep in for the day, and you'll notice that the cost is now 20 instead of 5. In all the Etrian Odyssey games, every level up for the parties is increased by 5 by each level up. So, this is why we're gonna go into a bit more detail about how to get more money, possibly in the next episode, because with the way we're doing it right now, it might not be enough for every time we come back here to heal our wounds. Don't push yourself too hard. You can come in here to rest your whole bodies. Sleep from that? Yeah, okay. Same dialogue. Let's go ahead and just sell these while we're here. A dagger. And the Ceft Apothecary also has new items in stock, so yeah, you're not necessarily just filling out items for the shop as well, but you're filling in items necessary to buy at the Apothecary. Which again will be a good thing because we'll be needing all the items necessary if we want to explore the labyrinth in full. Oh yeah, that reminds me, you got permission from the Radha? Yep. Even without it, I wanted to tell you all of my goods, but I promised Radha Hall and I stick by that. Here to see is an reality thread. If you're lost or about to die, use it to warp out of the labyrinth. I do ever want to take some before they leave for a trip down the labyrinth. But I go thinking they're free. How many do you want? In the original Etrian Odyssey games, these were originally called warp threads. And given the icon in the Etrian Mystery Dungeon games, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense why they're threads. So we're just gonna carry at least 3 for our dungeon exploration. It is more so just to be safe than sorry, because you don't want to be stuck in the labyrinth, want to go back to town and realize, oh crap, I've run out of Ariane threads, guess I gotta walk all the way back there and possibly might die in the process. Again, if you're on picnic mode, this won't matter because you just would buy one and that essentially would not be used. For later, for basic and expert mode though, you really want to have some Ariane threads on you. Real good to have, real good to have. But for now, I think I want to go ahead and just give everyone armor. Even if it's just a false giving everyone a hairpin. And now that we've officially all registered to adventurers, we can go here. Back safe in the mission, I see. Well done, Izar kiddos. I'm starting to hear about one of the off-duty soldiers. Everyone's pretty excited. So, am I right in thinking it's time to talk business? Here at the Golden Deal, I hear all sorts of problems that only adventurers can solve. Gathering materials, wiping out monsters, you name it, I hear someone sobbing about it. And when I do, I pass the request on to kids like you. You're welcome to take them on. These are essentially side quests, which I just explained like not long ago. We're free to accept them now, but we'll go over some we can take on in the next episode, because this seems like a pretty good time to stop right here for today. Next time, let's play Etrian Odyssey. We'll be going over some of the side quests and possibly exploring even further into the labyrinth, as well as seeing another method of getting money. See you guys then!